Hi all, so in this video we are going to see about web API post method. Okay, so in web API post method what happens is, in the post method, like when external system pushes data into the Appian, it can either create a new entry into our database, or it can delete some existing data, or it can start any process as well. So what we are going to see, and there are many more things as well. So in this video we are going to see about how to start a process with the help of post method. Okay, so for that, first of all, let's go back and create a web API. So here you can go and click on web API, and here you will get the template. A lot of template are there. See, if you want to query, that comes under get method. Okay, it can create a data, so you can see here it can start a process, or it can write into the data store, or it can delete. A cancel process can also be started and delete from data. Okay, so what we will select here is start process. Okay, so if I click the start process, here you can see the template name is start process, which it requires a process model constant. That is, here you can see, important. Without that we won't be able to create the web API, and it is a post method. So for that I haven't created any process model constant. Let's create. So I have already created a process model. You can see a blank process model. Okay, nothing is here, and this is the name of the process model, and for that only I will create a constant for this process model. Okay, start process API, something like this I have named it, and it will be a type of process model. And we have to select ys underscore, okay, ys start process web API. So this is the name of the process model, you can see here, and I will create a constant now. Okay, let's click on create. So now the process model constant is created. Now again let's go back to into the API. Okay, and select the template start process, and now here we will select the constant ys underscore something like API. I give it right. Okay, here only it was start process API. So this is the, and now we have to give a name for our web API. So what we will give is start process. Okay, start process API, something like this I have given the name, and here you can also give the endpoint as well. Otherwise it will take some random endpoint. Okay, it is already existing, so let me add something like underscore, and now let's create it. So now, and the security we will keep it default. And now our web API, so what will happen is Appian will automatically generate a template for our start process. You can see this is the, and whatever the endpoint we have written there, that came here. So now API, this is the interface for that. It consists of two parts. First part is this one where we can write our code, and the second part is the template. Okay, so here like paths are there, whatever requesting system path is there, headers we can define for the query, parameters are there. This is the body where we will pass the whatever the body we want, or the parameters we want in our process, that we will define here. Okay, and here we can click on test request. That was this, and let's overview this as well. Okay, so here everything, let's say, if let's collapse this only. So everything is now in it is within ABang start process, and you can see what are the parameters for that. Process model is there, process parameter, on success, on error. These are the parameters for that. So let's see one by one what is in the process model, on success, on error. Only these four parameters are there. So first parameter is process model, means which is the process model you want to start. So define a constant for that, and you can start this process. We have to start this process, so I have defined a constant for this. Now in the process parameter I have something like http request.body, and it is ABang from JSON. So this function, what it does, it converts a JSON string into an Appian value. Okay, whatever the JSON data that comes from this external system. So for that purpose, here one point is to be noted is like external system sends data in form of JSON. Okay, so it is sent inside form and we have to convert that into our form, and then success parameter is there. Okay, and this is the error parameters. Okay, all the values are configured here. So for that purpose, let's see and test like as it is. Let's see like it works or not. Let's click on test request, and you can see here status code is 200. It means that status code 200 means it was success. Okay, status code is here 200. 200 means success was there, SUCCESS. So it was a success. So let's go back into the process and let's check our process instances, and let's click on this, and we can see that the process has run successfully. Now the second step what we will do here is we will define something. We will try to give into our body. Okay, for example name, right? I have tried to give something as name as let me give my name only, Vikash Kumar. Okay, so let's I have given my name. Okay, and now if I test it, so you can see that it is 200 success, but here if you see at the bottom nothing is here in process variable, it is empty. Okay, so let's try to go back into the process and we'll see process instance will be success. Obviously it was success, but there was nothing captured here because we haven't defined any variables for that. So this time we will create a variable called name here. Okay, there is no variable, and now we will convert a variable called name and we will capture that. So in order to capture we need to store this data, okay, somewhere. Okay, this time let's go, okay, let's make it like this, and okay, so in order to save the name, what we want is we will take a script task for that purpose. We'll go to the properties, and we have whatever the name that I have passed from our web API, it should be passed into our process. So we'll go to the outputs, and in the outputs whatever the PV name is containing, it should contain PV bang, okay, name, and where it should save all the data should save in name. And now let's validate everything is fine for now. Let's publish this process model, save and publish. Done, I have published it. Let's trigger it once again, test request, and you can see once again it has triggered. Status is 200. Let's see the process instances, and you can see the process instance is fine. This is the process. Now let's see in the name. Okay, in the name no value has come. Why no value has come? Because here okay, so let us go into the process and let's see this. See, value from external system or from any process will only come if we keep this value checked. There is a feature here, parameter. If it is not parameter, it won't be able to get the data from outside the process. Okay, so here you can see the definition of parameter, like allow the value to be provided when starting a process. So now it will be able to get the data from the external system. Okay, save and publish it, and now once again I will click on test request, and once again the process instance will be triggered. Okay, and now this time let's see the process variable, and you can see I am able to get my name into our process, and it is you know, like it is like common, like general name, whatever is calling Vikas Kumar, like it is not inside any JSON format. But what I have told here, like external system send data in the form of JSON. So what we will see here is so here only in the process model is this one, and this is the process parameter. So here only we are using one function, abang from JSON. It means what? It converts a JSON string into an Appian value, and here only it is converting from the JSON to the Appian value, and that's why we are getting the data formatted here. Okay, one more thing here is like suppose you'll get data. Now here there was one value, but what if like instead of name I will pass the age as well. Okay, name, age, and age let me pass 23, and after the age I will pass gender as you can say something else, okay, male. Okay, so this is the data that I need to pass. So if I click on test request, you can see like in the process instances whatever it is triggered. Let me close the previous one. Only name is captured because it was parameterized, no other variable is there. So it means that should we pass 3 parameters if we have 3 data? It is not a good practice to have many parameters, okay, because external system can pass 5, 6 or 10 data as well, so we can't keep on adding the parameters. So instead of that, what we will do here is we will create a variable here, JSON data, and we will get all the data at once only. Okay, JSON data I have created, it is type of text, and let me parameterize it. Okay, and this name doesn't need to be parameterized now. Okay, so what I will do here is I will get all the JSON data first only, and then once the data is into our process, then we don't need to worry, we can do anything with that data. Okay, so that I have created JSON data. Why? Because I don't want to create a parameter for the age as well, gender as well. Suppose if we have 6 parameters, then 6. Suppose external system are sending some more data, again we will create parameter, it won't be good. Okay, now I will get whole the data here. Okay, so in the data I need to make one change here. Instead of PV bank name, will change this to PV bank JSON data. Okay, now instead of this I will save the JSON data, click on save and close, and now it will get stored in JSON data. This side is done. For our purpose this side is done. So let's make and we want all the JSON data, but here what is happening is that at the time it is triggering the process, it is automatically converting that JSON to Appian value. We don't want that now. We want the JSON data as it is. Okay, we want the JSON data as it is. We don't want that. So what we will do here is in the process parameters, here we will create here we will pass the body as it is. Okay, so what are here in the process parameters, like whatever the parameter that I have in the process. So what is the parameter? Only one parameter currently I am having, which is parameterized JSON data. So let me put it here, JSON underscore data. Make sure like both of these are like same, or you can copy from here and paste it here as well. Done. Now JSON data, only one parameter I have. So what I want is I will write a if condition as well, like if it is null, what http bang request dot body. If body is null, then don't store anything, otherwise http bang request dot body, otherwise store this in this parameter, it will be stored. Okay, if it is null, then null will be stored, and if it is this. Now okay, now this process is already ready and this web API is ready, and now let's trigger it. Let's change the name to something as Alex this time. Okay, now click on test request. It is once again, you can see it is success, and let's see the process instances. Okay, and let's see that have we got. So now you can see here we have got all the parameter, we have got all the JSON data in one parameter only, and this is the way how it is done in real time as well. Okay, first get all data. Once we have got the data, then we can do anything with this data. We can create, we can show this data in the interface, or we can store this in the database as well. Anything can be done. Okay, and when you trigger the process, you can see here every JSON data has came, the JSON data has came like this. Okay, so now the second point what we will do here is we have got the data Okay, fine. And now we want to show this data in the interface, whatever the data we have got. So for that, let me name this lane as get JSON data, something like this I have named it. Okay, get JSON data. Okay, and the second lane I will write is like or leave it. First of all, let's take a user input task here, and we want to show this data in the UI. See, I can store this data in the database as well, but let's show this data in the UI. Okay, whatever the data we have got from the external system. Let's put the assignment something as initiator. Okay, done. Initiator is done. In the forms, now in the forms we have to write, or like we have to use an interface. So I have already created a very simple interface for that purpose. Here you can see basic data I am getting, name, age, gender, and only one rule input I have created here, that is JSON data. It is of text format, and the labels are like this, name, age, all these things are like this only. Okay, so let me refer this in my process once, ys underscore basic data from web API. This is the value for there. Okay, and now let me go back into the cancel. Okay, for cancel, let's create a process variable and store this. And in the JSON data, what we will pass here is, we will pass the JSON data from the this underscore was from our process variable. Okay, and it will save in this only. Done. So now if you see here, it is done, and now from here to here we will connect this and get it. Fine. Okay, so JSON data. Okay, so now we will be able to see the JSON data here. Okay, and now let's validate it once again. Fine. Now, and one more thing is that I haven't created like what is the value or anything. Now one function we have seen in the process, like abank from JSON, we will use this function here. Okay, or first of all, before using this function, we will map the value. Suppose if I map it like this, value, okay, rule input, not JSON but JSON data dot, it is containing the name, right? This process has name, age and gender. Okay, so let's do it like name, and we will make it a read only because we are getting from external system. Okay, name, and for the value here we will use rule input JSON data dot age we want, and it will be also in read only format. Okay, read only is true, and here as well the same thing, and here it is should show the value as rule input JSON data dot gender. Okay, all these values I have showed, but you can see like one error we are getting, like cannot index property name of type text into type text. It is type text, and dot notation will not work here. Okay, let's save the changes for now, and we'll see how does our process behave. Okay, let's save the changes here as well, and let's click on test request. We have clicked. Oh, I haven't published the. Okay, fine, let me publish the process. Okay, now the process published. Let us test it once again, and I guess it is now published, and when we will go back into the process instances. Okay, and now you can see here the JSON data has came right as it is. That's fine, and let's see this form, whether this form is containing or not. Most probably it will throw the error, and now in the next step we will resolve that error. See, here also it is getting the same error. So how to resolve this error? First of all, what we want is whatever the JSON data that has came here, we will store this JSON data into a variable. Okay, first of all, what we will do is store the JSON data into a variable. First of all, we will store the JSON data into variable. After that map each respective value. So we will map each respective value, we will map it. So let's store this JSON data first. A bank local variables, and now this. Now local bank JSON data. So whatever the JSON data it is containing, we will convert here only into the Appian value with the help of abank from JSON function and rule input JSON data. Okay. Here also it is giving one error, like the JSON text parameter must not be null. So we have to handle the null condition as well. So let's handle the null condition. If is null, if is null rule input JSON data, then we don't want to do anything. Otherwise we will store we will convert it into the JSON, right? And now most probably it won't throw any error. Again it is throwing some more errors. So now what we have done is we have stored the JSON data into local bank JSON. You can see here we have stored into. Now in the rule input, instead of this rule input, what we want to pass here is the local bank JSON data. So one of the ways, like I will replace this rule input at once with local bank. Okay, replace all. Okay, so I have okay, here also it is replaced here. Sorry. Okay, here it doesn't need to replace, and here also it doesn't need to replace. Okay. Now in the local bank JSON data dot name it is fine, and one more place it has reduced, that is here. Here also it should not reduce. And now now again it is throwing the error like cannot index property name of type string into list type of variant. Okay, fine. So what we will do here is we will store this in the property function. So how to convert into property? First get it into dot, and then now change it to property, and then null. Done, right? And same thing we will do in the case of age as well. So instead of name, let's put it inside the age, and instead of this gender we will put inside the gender. And now you can see here everything is as it is, and it's much better. Okay, now the JSON data we will get and we will store it. Now let's save the changes, and now once again we will go back into our web API and we'll click on test request. Once we have clicked on test request, here one instance would have been generated, and that is this. Let's see our process properties first. We have got all the JSON data, name, age, gender, everything we have got. And now let's see our form. So in the form, let's see we have got the data or not, or is it any error. So now you can see here we have got the data as name as Alex, age, male. Okay, anything whatever we want we can get the data. See, the major problem here is this format only, like how we will be able to get the JSON data. Once the JSON data is got, we can show that data in the interface. We can do many actions, and then we can store that data into some database as well, or whatever the data is there we can also store that into some what you can say here is in the database. So that we will do it somewhere later, but that's all for now. So what we have got in this session is we have set like when external system triggers the data from the external system, this was a kind of JSON format. Okay, name and value, key value pair. Okay, and then we captured that data into our JSON response, and we show that data into the interface as well, whatever the data that was there. So even if we put some new data like Peter is there, okay, and instead of 23 let's give it 30, okay, and let's test the request. So we have showed this as well, and now you can see once again it has been triggered, and whatever the data we have got we can show directly inside the interface. Okay, so you can see here Peter, age is 30, gender is male, everything we have got. Okay, so I haven't defined any XOR, but that's not important for now. Okay, so that's all in this video for now. Thank you all for watching.